She may not have gotten to you. After church, she just kind of going to back. She just said, this came from Pastor Bennett. I appreciate all of our users who are preaching with the love of Jesus Christ. And I am very happy to still have our brother with us, Bishop McIntosh, and he's brought his better half, Pastor Bennett. So we love the Lord today, and I am very full, and I'm going to try to minister to the Lord. We have so much is going on in the house, and it's a good thing what God is doing in the house and the things that God is instructing and changing. And I was awakened very heavily this morning, and I've been trying to kind of shake it. And you can't shake the spirit. I shouldn't say that, but it's true. You're just trying to function. You're trying to function. But we've been in our leadership conferences or our leadership meetings and things, and just trying to get a better perspective of how to serve in the house of God better, getting a better understanding of how to do things decently and in order, because that's pleasing to God. And in the midst of that, we're learning a lot of things. I want to first acknowledge my husband, my baby's father, and so, I'm sorry, Mother, she didn't like that. I know, you didn't even have to say that. I felt that you didn't like that, but it is. Anywho, I felt it. She didn't have to say it. And I looked at her face. But he is, it's my dude. And when we were waking this morning, what we've been learning, and there's things that we'll share in the house as we go on, as we get a clearer picture and able to present things in a proper manner. But my husband shared this video, and we watched it. It's a TED Talk. How many of you heard of TED Talk? And they do some pretty cool stuff. And on one of them, this man was talking about the why. The why. And he's explaining how successful businesses are successful because they sell and they produce, and they never forget the why of what they're doing. When you understand the why, that everything around it gets built around why. It's not the what, it's not the how, it's the why. And so we were breaking it down in this house. And why do we do what we do is to win souls. Amen. Amen. To win souls. So from worship to making everything appropriate, making everything look nice, so that souls can be comfortable to come in. We know our why. Auxiliaries have to be tight. Leaderships have to be kind and loving, and people have to be caring. Y'all say amen. All that is the why of winning our brothers and sisters to Christ. It's looking for the lost sheep and know that when they come into the house of God, they feel at home. Hallelujah. This is why we do what we do. As soon as I opened my eyes this morning, I was not even ready to take my first cup of coffee. The Lord said, and don't you ever forget my why. He said, my why is because time is winding up. And just push. And you not to forget my why pushing you. Try it. We can make this church ever so beautiful. We can have the most phenomenal websites. He said, remember the whys, because I'm coming. I'm coming soon. And so we want to talk a tiny bit about time. Because time is not a mechanic. Time, I've said this before, time really irritates me. Like, I have no words to tell you why I can't stand time. And I can't stand time because you can't control it. Maybe I'm not controlling it, but you can't. No matter, every clock in your house can break. Keep on moving. That's right. You don't have your cell phone, you have no digital mechanic. Do you understand what I'm saying? You have nothing mechanical to keep you on the pulse of time. Yet time says, I'm not stopping you. Your cell phone battery goes out, and you're looking to see if I know what time. Oops, before you know it, it's time to leave. It's time to be somewhere. Before you know it, time. And we all know about that man called Father Time. I don't even act like he exists. That's when the people talk about you didn't have the time. I told you was 55, 60. Just couldn't jump like you used to. You couldn't. I ain't even talking about some people that try to play basketball at a certain stage and then you feel it the next day. Time is reminding you. You ain't 18 no more. Time. Time controls. And the thing about time is time belongs to God. So I need y'all to really pray with me today because I'm a little full and still. Time belongs to God. And while we look at the world and its creation, that's really not what's happening. The world is moving by God's providence. So the moon and the sun, the earth is not rotating around the sun or the sun around the moon. Which way is it? The earth? What rotates around the earth? The sun? Things are moving, shifting by the providence of God. Nothing is just happening. So the word is still Ecclesiastes 3 and 1. Y'all praying with me? And there's a little shift in the mind that you have to pray with. To everything. I'm trying to slow it down because to everything there is a season and a time. To every purpose under heaven. Nothing just happens. I need us to really understand that. I need you to understand it in your life. I need you to understand it when you see things happening in the earth. I need you to understand it when you lose a job and you gain a job. Everything has a purpose. And it is already being dictated by the providence of God. So to everything there's a season. Now, I thought the definition of time, and of course there's several, but time is the duration regarded as belonging to the present life. So time is right now. It's the duration of belonging to the present life and is distinct from life to come or from eternity or infinity. So time is everything about what's happening right now and everything that's to come. So, whatever, let's say we talk about basketball, say it was a basketball, whatever basketball game was yesterday, the time of that game is over. And it can never exist again. Because time is not in the past. Time is now. It's a moving thing.
Right.
Time moves. So it's not past. Because we say that an era is over. It's stood still. It's done. It can't be brought back. It can't be. Nothing can happen. It's now called history. It's something that used to exist that doesn't exist anymore. So the only thing I have right now is right now.
Right.
Y'all with me? I have right now. Time is the living thing now. He says, so everything in the moment right now has a season. And everything we're doing right now has a purpose. Here we go, next verse. And he says, so there's a time to be born. And then there's a time to die. And this is life. These are the cycles and the providence of life. There's a time to plant. And then there's a time to pluck up. Yes. There's a time, and that which is planted. There's a time to pluck up that which is planted. Next one, here we go. There's a time to kill when it's appropriate. You're kidding me. There's a time to kill, but it's the time to do it. Right. It's the right time. And then there's a time, no killing, let's heal. It's appropriate. There's a time to break down, and then there's a time to build up. Yes. There's a time, here we go, to weep. And it's okay. It's okay. It's a time to weep. And then there's a time to just go and laugh. And so I got no time. God, please help me today. Help me today. Because time is owned by God. And so if I don't know God, I'm constantly out of season. And so I can fret about a lot of things because I'm not with God to know it's time. Y'all working with me. We as believers, God, please help me today. We're not supposed to ever be disturbed by time, yet we may not have all the answers because we're not God. But we trust in Him because I'm moving with Him in His time. Okay, I need a little praise, just a little bit. Just a little bit. It's a time to mourn. It just is what it is. You cannot, and I've matured, please. I've matured to that. You know, when death happened and then this person died, I have matured. What is going on? It's just a time to mourn. I've matured to that. I don't think it's spooky. I don't think I'm cursed. I don't think, oh my God, what's happening? Your earth is falling. No, there's a time. Get with God. Understanding we are in a mourning season. We not going to be happy all the time. It's part of life. Things aren't going to go your way all the time. And I dare to say that we as saints sometimes live ignorantly because we think every day should be wonderful and every day should be blessed. But as long as I'm under this sun, life is going to change. And I got to know how to shift with God's time. Clap those hands and help me just a little bit. Amen. Hallelujah. Shout hallelujah. There's a time to dance. You got to know when that grief is leaving. You got to know when it's lifting and when the praise comes. And you don't wait and let the devil make you wallow in the past of a time I can't do anything about. People died. I missed them. They're never, ever coming back. There's nothing I can do. I can't bring them back, but I got to move with the time. And God said it's time to praise me because the time is changing. So there's a time today. And it's time. Next one. Here we go. And then there's a time to cast away stones. There's a time you got to let things go. You got to know the time. Are y'all working with me? We're moving with God. And we're not going to be deceived. And we're not going to be fretful over things that are happening. But we will pray and we will submit ourselves to God to see and feel the seasons when it's time to shift with Him. So there's a time that you have to know when to let things go. Cast it. Let it go. I'm not going to worry about things that I cannot change. I'm not going to fret myself and have a weight of something that I have no control over. I have carried it long enough. It's time to cast it. It's just time to gather things. Yes. There's times that you got to pick up the burdens of brothers and sisters and carry somebody and worry about some things. There's a time. And see, again, the church, I believe, are stunted. We get stunted in our growth because we dare to act like we know God or we got God and we don't want to shift with the wind. I dare to say there is literally impossible for you to be in the time with God if you ain't in the wind with God. You've got to be in the wind with God to know when He should be. So then there's a time that we gather stones and there's a time to embrace. There's a time when you love on people. If we think about our natural children, there's a season that healthy children, as they're being swaddled. Let me work this for a minute. There's a passage of scripture that the Bible says that you were never swaddled. Babies, when they're infants, they need to be swaddled. They need to be held. They need to be hugged. Babies have been in their mother's womb in this warm, cozy place where they have tossed and turned in their mommy's womb, and they're so safe because they're in this womb. And then all of a sudden they come out in this earth and everything is so open. So that's why the nurses back in the day, they wrap the babies really tight. They wrap them tight so the baby can still feel secure and swaddled. And I dare to say that many of us, if you didn't swallow your children, or if you weren't swallowed yourself, it makes you just a little bitter and you feel very lonely. I know I'm telling the truth, and you feel kind of out there because you were never swallowed, you were never handled, you were never taken through stages of being embraced and loved. I gotta work that for a minute. You were never taken through the stages of being embraced and loved. Little girls should hear from their fathers that they're pretty and your daddy's little girl and embraced. Young men should know what it is to have a pure affection of their mother and that their mother believes in them and support them. Are y'all working with me? Fathers need to speak into their sons. Sons shouldn't be afraid of affection and think that it's something effeminate because I've gotten the affection of my father. My father has loved me and embraced me. My mother has loved me and embraced me. There's a time to embrace things, to embrace people. He said, but then there's a time to refrain from embracing. Because if I keep embracing this child at 17, I can stuff them. You're working with me, so there's a minimum now, because fathers begin to make their sons men. Are you working with me? It doesn't mean I won't hug you, but it's time for me to help you get built as a man. So there's a time of embracing, then there's a time to refrain. Here we go, next one. He said, then there's a time to get, and there's a time to lose. I could take this in a carnal way, and I am. So, I don't know. Those that surround me, and I do mean it, they're my witness. I'll walk softly with this. They're my witness. I don't know. There's a dove that just tells me when to go to certain stores at certain times. And I get ridiculous sales. And just 2 or 3 around me say amen. There's a time to get, and then there's a time to lose. There's a time to keep. There's a time to cast away. We as believers think that we go through some things unnecessarily because you try to be a hero all the time. I think we go through things unnecessarily because we stand in one avenue of faith as though if I stop believing something or if I change from something, there's something wrong with my faith. And the truth is, God said it's time to move. Surely, God help me today, surely if Moses had stayed in the mindset of God, then Moses himself too would have went to the promised land. But Moses did not hear God when God said it's time for me to destroy these people. They are never. I'm already looking through the corridors of time, Moses. And I know I used you. Watch this, watch this. I know I used you to bring them out, Moses. That was my plan. I know I promised them. Watch this. I promised them for over 400 years that I was going to send a deliverer. And I did, Moses. I sent you and I used you. And Moses, let me remind you that your name is written in the Lamb's book of life. Moses, it was you that I took your hand and put it in your bosom and brought it out and made it full of leprosy. Then I made you put your hand back in your bosom and I healed it. I did that for you. Moses, it was you that I allowed to float on the Nile and then be raised in Pharaoh's home, so that by the time I had to use you, you were already acquainted with the lifestyles of the very person. I got to tell you, let my people go. So Moses, I've always, watch this, I've always had you in my providence of time. Always. When you didn't know I was using you, I was using you. When you didn't know that I was going to call you, I'd already marked your life to be called. So Moses, I was already using you in my providence of time. And I'm telling you, stay with me in my time. And I'm telling you, we have kept the promise. I did what I said I was going to do. I delivered them. Because that's what I promised them. I promised them I was going to deliver them. And I did. So I did my time with them. But you're the one I chose. Why? I had to deliver them because I promised them I would. Yeah. And I did. But you're the one I chose. So Moses, I need you to let these people go. Because I'm looking at the finish of this thing, Moses. I'm time. I am time. I'm telling you, they're never going to do right. They're stiff-necked, they're hard-headed, they're never. And what did Moses do? Moses took to God a time that was over. Yeah, but God, you don't want it to be said that I brought you. Why are you going back? That season is over. And I did. Why are you going back? I'm not even there anymore. That is now history. I am right now. I'm saying now, let them go. Let me destroy them because I got to take you to another side. Are y'all walking? And Moses had just said, okay. He didn't. He tried to hold on to something that he thought was a purpose that was not the purpose of God. And I think we have to be so very careful. Can I pause for just 1 moment? I'm so grateful that my friend and our dear landscaper, Ron Gardner, is here. That's his handsome man. Ron, can you just wave your hands for me? That's my Papa Gardner right there. I dare to say that the church, we hinder our personal growth because we'll reflect on a season that God did a thing at a certain time. We keep trying to make purpose for the now. Oh, nothing is matching. You hold on to things. And you're determined to make a thing what it is. And God said, I know what I'm doing. How about even when I bless you, you didn't even know I was going to bless you because that still was in my providence of time. He says, you got to know when to cast away. You got to know when a season is over. Because it's no longer aligned with God's purpose for me. Because everything, there's a season. There is a purpose under the sun. Here we go, next one. He says, so it's a time to reap, it's a time to sow. There's a time to keep silent. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Now, where I can't stand time, I love silence. Silence is my friend. And silence is my friend because I know if you haven't said anything, then regardless of how things look, I'm going to stay in the orders you gave me. So I won't fret. Lord, I love you. Because I've come this far by hearing from you, sir. So silence is my friend. Because if I hear nothing, then I do nothing. I hate it. Even in speaking, and I think Bishop McIntosh can concur with this, even in speaking, if you were to go to a professional oratorical training, they will tell you to not be afraid of silence. That's right. Because there's times when you need to say something that A, you might need to gather all of your thoughts so you don't say the wrong thing. Or you already said something that you need the people to hear. Sometimes a few words are more powerful than our message. There's a time to speak, and there's a time to say nothing. Many marriages will probably do better. If you would just learn to say nothing. Because some things, haven't you heard that? Time has got to heal. Time has got to give an understanding. David was smart enough to say, Lord, don't you whip me in your hot displeasure. There ain't a good time for you to come at me. I need you to calm down, Jesus. Come at me at another time. Kids, if you're smart, and you know you've done some things, it's best to stay out of your parents' way. Get out of their face. It's not There's a time to hate. The only true thing you should hate is Satan. You ought to hate him. I need to really drive that home. You need to hate Satan. He is not your friend. He will do you no good. He's not going to compromise with you. He has one goal to destroy you. You can't negotiate with him. It ain't, let me work this out. He's never going to let you work your life out to give your life to Christ. Never. You should hate him. You know what I hate about him? I hate what he took me through. Oh, I got a revenge on him. I hate him. For the things he calls me to do because I believe in him and I trust him. I hate him. And then there's a time to love. You should love nothing else but Jesus. And you should love him with all of your heart, all of your mind, all of your soul, and all of your strength. Nothing should get your passion more than Jesus. I got a few hand claps. I got a few. Don't you love a job? Don't you love a husband? Don't you love a wife? Don't love a child more than you love Jesus. That's the thing you love. Next one, here we go. He said that, so what profit hath he that worketh wherein he labors? So if you don't understand seasons and times, and if you don't know how to labor in seasons and times, you can miss opportunities. You can miss moments of life. I'm grateful that in spite of being a pastor and the different things I do, I'm grateful that the Lord have afforded me to watch my children grow up and to be a mother to my children. I don't have that yet. Maybe I'll have it later. They grow up so fast. Yeah, it's about right to me. Because I've been blessed to be a part of their life. So from the time they were born in preschool and learning how to walk and learning how to talk and writing their first words. I'm saying that to say I'm taking my time with it because I know that time will be over. And I'll never get it back. And so I calculate, Mommy Hall, as you help me understand. So I calculate that in this season of my life, nothing can have a greater priority than my children. Because this is the labor I'm able to give them that I'll never get back. So my children don't wear me out. My children don't get on my nerves. Because it's the season that it's my time to labor with my children. I'm supposed to be in everything they do, in how they walk, how they talk, how they sit, what they wear, who are they friends, where are you going? It's my season. Are y'all working with me? It's a season that is profitable labor. This is profitable labor because it's pleasing to God, and this time will never come back again. I need y'all to, come on, I need y'all to. You don't learn the time and the seasons you have in your life, and that's what makes people wake up. So I know what I did with all my time. That's why the Bible told the young man, he said, marry your wife, the wife of your youth. Young men should marry, according to the scriptures, while they're young. Where you can be, as my husband likes to say, where you can be their Superman, and you can, true story, this is true, this is true, this is true. Miles, when he was like 7, our house, kids' school was, and maybe, honey, that's where that Superman analogy started with you. My sons, their school is literally behind the fence, but yet they got to walk around the block to get to their school. One day, and so we could see them through our window when it's time to come home, Jasmine and Miles, we could look through our window and we see them coming home, and all right, we could hear the bell from the school ring, so we would peek and okay, we see them coming. It was just great and convenient. One day, Jasmine is screaming, Daddy, Daddy, my husband's stung by a bee. Okay, so I freeze. because Miles has asthma, so you don't know how it's going to trigger, what kind of effect. Now, my mind was saying, how fast can I run around the block to be able to rescue my son who has been stung by me? But now my husband, he literally, ran through the kitchen, through the backyard, and leaped over the fence. Scooped up out and leaped back. I kid you not. And leaped back with his son. Hit the broadside, Jerry. And sucked the bee sting. So perhaps that's why God said, y'all need to marry while you're young, because when you're 60, you're going to stuck. You're going to be stuck. You're going to be stuck. I ain't judging you, I'm just saying. Because it takes strength to raise children. It takes strength to be a father. It takes strength to work hard and supply needs for your family. He says, so get your boo while you're young and you can enjoy your children. Y'all not working with me because she got needs too. So anywho, you want to do it while you're young. So you can be that hero to your wife. So everything is the time. Listen, so you got to know what's proper. Here we go. Go here to the word. Go to Luke 19:41. Lord, I love you so much. Are y'all walking with me? I'm going to turn the corner. Work with me. Luke 19:41. Now. Yeah. Luke, 19:41. Now, the pressure that I'm feeling, and I need the church to pray because we're believers, yes? We're understanding the why. And so the Lord is saying, I'm coming, Tammy. So the pressure you feel is because I shift my church with me in time. Because the church understands we don't operate by the time of this world. We're not governed by the seasons of this world. What happened with Joseph when Pharaoh had the dream and he's tormented by the dream? And regardless of what it looks like now, let me give you an interpretation of what God is about to do. So I know you're prospering in the land right now, but God has said to me to tell you that it's going to be 7 years of drought. That there will be nothing in the land. And so the Lord is saying, at this present time, everybody says the present time. At this present time, store up. Store up. At this present time, get. That's when you go get it. Go get it and store it. Because time is going to change. Because time operates in the now and in the future. Time is not the present. The past is over. So time operates in the now and in the future. He says, so store up. God gave Joseph the interpretation. Store up right now because I'm looking through the corners of time and in 7 years, there's going to be a drought. I need the church to begin to consecrate themselves so that we don't get caught up in folly or we don't get distracted by things. Can I work it real good? Saints, there can be a season where God will lift pressures from you and allow you to have a season of rest and a season of rejoicing and a season that you can seek his face. He says, seek me while I may be found. God will allow a season that you can seek his face and cry out to God, and his manna is in the house and his glory is easily to get access to. But I can promise you that season can change, and there will be a season of drought where you feel nothing, you hear nothing, you can't get a word from God. It does not mean God has left you. It means I'm shifting things again. So I need you to store up now. And so Acts 19:41, the Bible says that when he was come near, he beheld the city and wept over it. Yes, this is Jesus. This is Jesus. When he entered into Jerusalem, he began to weep over the city, saying, if thou hadst known, if thou had least in this day the things which belong unto thy peace, if you only knew where your peace was. I don't pray with me. Keep praying with me. He said, if you only knew where your peace was, but now they are hid from thine eyes, because you didn't recognize the next verse. He said, for the days shall come upon thee, that thine enemies shall cast a trench about thee, and compass thee round, and keep thee in on every side. The next verse. And shall lay thee even on the ground, and thy children within thee, and they shall not lead in thee one stone upon another, because you knewest not your time of visitation. And so this thing that's happening within the body of Christ, that we're hearing bits and pieces. You can feel the hunger from different people that may have either used to the glory of God or have experienced the glory of God. You feel this like hunger. Are you working with me? This like inquiry of wanting more of God and looking for a glory of God. And I would dare to challenge the church to say that we can't talk about it only. It's time to get on our knees and pray, because that's God shifting us, saying, I need you to begin to pray in the season for my glory, because there's a visitation that's going to come to the earth. He said, and I don't want you to miss it. And so the Lord, the chastening I felt that was so heavy, he said, don't get out of sync, though. Right. Don't get relaxed. Yes, it's a glorious season in the house. And it is a happy season in the house. And the Lord is blessing. And the Lord is opening doors. He said, enjoy the season. You're supposed to, but don't forget the why, because I'm coming. And I need the church to constantly be reminded that I'm coming. Because the church is easy to relax. The church is easy to pray sometimes. You're not going to work with me. The church is easy to get carnal quickly. The church is easy to want to drop your hair and let loose a little bit. Y'all not working with me. The church is easy to say, well, if they can get away with it, let me. The church is easy to look for a way out. Are y'all working with me? And God is saying, no. He said, keep them in the mindset of the why. He said, because they can miss their hour or their time of visitation. I'll go to Luke, my next scripture, I think it's Luke, and we're going to pray in a minute. Go to Luke 10 and 38. 10 and 38. Very familiar passage of scripture. And so the scripture says, and reading from the King James Version, now it came to pass that as they went, and he entered into a certain village, and a certain woman named Martha. So Jesus is going into a certain village, and a woman named Martha, she invites Jesus into her house. And she said she had a sister called Mary, which was also at Jesus' feet. So Jesus was in the house. And when Jesus came into the house, Martha got so excited, she started setting the table, started putting dishes together. She sent somebody to Safeway, let's go get the food. She started making all these cakes and pies. But when Mary realized Jesus was in the house, Mary just got at his feet. Because she recognized Jesus is here. Jesus is here. And the Bible says that, 39 verse, yes, and she said, yes, 30. But Martha was so comforted about much serving, and came to him and said, Lord, don't you care that my sister had left me to serve alone? Better therefore that she help me. Lord, I'm in here. Don't you hear me? Because I don't know if you've ever been in a kitchen of aggravated workers. Dishes start getting louder. It really didn't take all that to whip that up, but you hear Martha's getting irritated. So she said, Jesus, seriously? He said, make Mary come and help me. Because I'm working. I'm preparing this for you. Yes, go, yes. 41st verse, and Jesus answered and said unto her, Martha, Martha, thou art careful and troubled about many things, because you're doing too much. And I say this all over the spectrum of church. All over the spectrum. It's a time to labor. And there's a time to seek his face. There's a time to build. And then there's a time to do nothing but get in his presence. Preachers are guilty of it. When you're preaching, you preach. When you preach, you're getting drained. And if you stop and had to ask yourself, when was the last time you took your own life on a fast or prayer? When did you shut everything down so you could just get in the presence of God? You're encumbered about taking appointment after appointment after appointment. I know y'all don't like me. This is every spectrum of the church. You get encumbered about doing so much. And there's a time that you never recognize Jesus is here. Recognizing when it's just time to see. He said, Martha, Martha, you're encumbered about so many things. In the early days of our ministry, and this is why some things are the way they are. In the early days of our ministry, because I came from a ministry where we did a lot of work. And so in the early days of our ministry, I would tell everybody, whatever you need to do, you do it before church. But when it's time for the word, everything gets shut down. I don't want to see people in the kitchen, because that chicken is not that important. When it's time to get in the presence of the Lord. There are times in the service when the spirit is so thick. I don't care about a porter doing nothing. So much snot is on the floor. I'll get my own tissue. It's time to get in the presence of the Lord. He said, you're encumbered about so many things. Next verse. He said, one thing is needful, and Mary hath chosen the good part, which shall not be taken away from her. And she knows that it's time. I need Ecclesiastes 9 and 11, and then we're going to get ready to pray. I need Ecclesiastes 9 and 11, and then we're going to get ready to pray. So, while there is absolutely a shift in this house, it's a wonderful shift. And I'm so excited about where we're going. But the end game is understanding, because Jesus is coming. And so we can't procrastinate. And we can't be encumbered about something that should take a minute to handle. Are y'all listening to me? Are you listening to me? We will not be encumbered by things of the natural that don't take but a few minutes to do when it's time to get in the presence.